So if you woke up tomorrow and every lightsaber in the galaxy just vanished, what weapon are you grabbing? Because yeah, lightsabers get all the posters, but some of the hardest Star Wars moments ever came from normal weapons. Blasters, bombs, spears, witch swords, that one sound effect that lives rent-free in all our brains. Today we are ranking the most iconic non-lightsaber weapon moments in Star Wars. Not the weapons themselves, the actual scenes where they went absolutely crazy. Trust me, some of these are so good, you'll wonder why anyone even bothers with laser swords. And no, number 1 is not the Death Star. Stick around, because the top spot is something you can already hear in your head. Let's get into it. Number 10. Boba's Gaffy Stick Beatdown. Starting at number 10, we have the moment Boba Fett reminded everyone that a wooden stick in the right hands is absolutely terrifying. In The Mandalorian Season 2, Boba shows up on Typhon with just a Gatterfy stick. No armor, no blaster, just Boba, that staff, and some very unlucky stormtroopers. He charges in and starts smashing helmets so hard you can see pieces flying everywhere. What makes this even better? In the Book of Boba Fett, we see him earn that weapon. He carves it by hand during his Tusken rite of passage, so when he's cracking skulls in The Mandalorian, that's not just a random stick, it's a cultural weapon tied to his new family. Imagine showing up to a blaster fight with a stick and walking out as the scariest guy on the field. That's main character energy right there. But wait until you see what's next. Number 9. Han shoots Greedo. Number 9 goes to the famous blaster shot in Star Wars history. In A New Hope, Han sits across from Greedo in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Greedo has a blaster pointed at him, talking about Jabba. Under the table, Han has his DL-44 ready. One shot later, Greedo is face down and the whole galaxy has a new favorite scoundrel. I'm not opening the who shot first war in this video. What matters is how iconic that moment is. That one blaster shot tells you exactly who Han is. Fast, dangerous, and not waiting around to see if you're serious. The DL-44 shows up all over Star Wars, but this is the moment that made it legendary. Number 8. Leia's thermal detonator bluff. At number 8, Leia Organa almost blows up an entire crime palace with one button. In Return of the Jedi, she sneaks into Jabba's palace disguised as Boushh. She's haggling over Chewie's bounty when Jabba laughs at her offer. Then she pulls out a small silver sphere and clicks it. It starts glowing. The music stops, somebody yells "thermal detonator," and the whole room freaks out. Even Jabba freezes before bursting out laughing and calling her "my kind of scum." She never throws it. That's what makes it so good. One little device in her hand has an entire room of bounty hunters and a hut on edge. The most effective bluff in the saga. If that was a bluff, our next weapon is the opposite. Once it goes off, everyone's gone. Number 7. Din's Whistling Birds. Number 7 goes to the tiniest missiles with the biggest ego, Whistling Birds. In The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 3, the Armorer forges Din a set of these rare Mandalorian missiles from the Beskar he brought from the Grogu job. Later that same episode, Din is trapped in a hallway holding Grogu, surrounded by stormtroopers with no cover and nowhere to run. But he twists his wrist and the Whistling Birds launch, swirl around the room, and home in on every trooper at once. 1 second, there's a full squad. Next second, they're all on the floor. This is the moment you understand how brutal Mandalorian tech can be. These aren't cool gadgets. This is a wrist rocket system that says, I don't need to aim, the armor will do it for me. Imagine having that in Battlefront. One button, entire enemy team gone. Most people would rank this higher, but those combat limitations keep it at 7. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Number 6. Chewie's bowcaster wrecks Kylo. And number 6. The walking carpet's favorite toy. The bowcaster is around from the original trilogy, but The Force Awakens shows what it can really do. On Takodana, stormtroopers don't just fall when it hits them, they get launched. Han borrows it, fires one shot, looks at it and says, I like this thing. Then, the moment that locks it into this list, after Kylo kills Han, Chewie roars and fires. The bolt hits Kylo in the side and almost throws him off his feet. That shot matters for the whole rest of the fight. Kylo is bleeding, punching his injury, and still takes on Finn and Rey. The movie uses the bowcaster to show both how strong the weapon is and how strong Kylo is for taking that hit and keep going. Canonically, only Wookiees can handle these well. It's basically hand-carried artillery. But what if your weapon isn't tech at all, but dark magic? Number 5. The Blade of Talzin vs. Ahsoka. Number 5 goes to a weapon that looks like someone turned dark side energy into a sword. The Blade of Talzin first shows up in the Clone Wars when Mother Talzin manifests this green, flaming energy blade during her fight with Mace Windu. It clashes with his lightsaber and holds up. Already insane. Fast forward to Ahsoka Episode 8. The Great Mothers gift Morgan Elsbeth a Night Sister blade. It ignites in green fire and smoke, and Morgan uses it to duel Ahsoka. The visuals are crazy. Ahsoka's white sabers versus this green witch blade. Every clash sends sparks and smoke trails, and it doesn't melt or break. It stands toe-to-toe with lightsabers until Ahsoka finally gets through. This gives non-Jedi magic users a legit melee weapon that can fight lightsabers without being another lightsaber. It ties into Night Sister lore and proves witchcraft in Star Wars isn't just spooky fog. The top 5 are locked in, but wait until you see what's coming. Number 4. Din's Beskar Spear versus the Darksaber. Number 4 is the most overqualified stick in the galaxy. In The Mandalorian Season 2, Din gets a pure Beskar Spear from Morgan Elsbeth after helping Ahsoka take down the Magistrate of Caladan. Later in the Season 2 finale, he faces Moff Gideon, who has the Darksaber. Gideon swings, and the Darksaber crashes down. The spear blocks every hit, glowing from heat, but it doesn't break. Din disarms him using nothing but armor skill and a metal staff. Then in the Book of Boba Fett, the armorer points out that spear can pierce Beskar armor, making it super dangerous to Mandalorians. That's why Din has it melted down into armor for Grogu. This gets points not just for the fight, but for the lore. It can both block and kill the most armored warriors in the galaxy. The top 3 are different though. These are press a button and delete something moments. Number 3. Slave One's seismic charge destroys 2 ties. Number 3 goes to Boba, bringing back his dad's favorite toy. In The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 7, The Believer, Din and Mayfield escape Morak in a stolen transport. 2 TIE fighters chase them. Boba flies in with Slave One and drops 1 seismic charge. The charge tumbles. Everything goes silent at first, and then it detonates. Blue energy waves snap outward. Both ties get shredded instantly. Din and Mayfield just stare. This is the weapon Jango used against Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones. Seeing Boba use it decades later to save his friends, chef's kiss. Perfect callback, perfect execution. You could argue this should be higher, but the next weapon makes Vader's no disintegrations line finally make sense. Number 2. The Amban Rifle Disintegrations. Number 2 is Din's favorite stick of doom. The Amban Phase Pulse Rifle appears early in The Mandalorian. In Season 1 Episode 2, Din aims at a Jawa and fires. The Jawa literally disintegrates. No body, no armor, just a cloud and a scream. He does it again to a Trandoshan. He also uses it to shock creatures and as a long-range sniper. It's a taser, sniper rifle, and disintegration cannon in one. This is where Vader's line in Empire Strikes Back hits different. We finally see what he meant. People aren't just dying, they're being erased. The Amban became part of Din's silhouette. You see that fork over his shoulder and you know someone's about to have a very bad day. So if the rifle that erases people is only number 2, what beats it? Number 1. Slave One's seismic charges in the asteroid field. Number 1 goes to the most satisfying weapon sound effect in Star Wars, maybe in all of sci-fi. In Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan chases Jango through the asteroid field around Geonosis. Jango releases flat pods from Slave One. One tumbles silently, then everything cuts out. No music, no blaster fire, just silence. Then it detonates. Blue energy waves snap outward, slicing asteroids clean in half. The sound is like the universe getting ripped open. Obi-Wan barely dodges as rocks explode everywhere. People in 2002 were talking about that sound leaving the theater. To this day, there are videos that are just 10 hours of seismic charge sound. That's how burned into fans' brains this is. It's not just powerful, plenty of weapons blow stuff up. This one does it with style. It turned a secondary ship weapon into the star of the scene. That's why it takes the number 1 spot. It's the one non-lightsaber weapon moment almost every fan can see and hear with their eyes closed. So that's my ranking. Do you agree with it? Would you put the M-bend at number 1? Think the bowcaster deserves better? And if you could borrow one of these weapons for a day, which one are you picking? Let me know in the comments and argue with me respectfully like a true Star Wars fan. If you enjoyed this, do what Anakin couldn't. Don't leave. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, may the Force be with you.